welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but them views, they are amazing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. We are back this week, and for some reason, we just can't get everybody lately. I don't know what's up with that, but Faison is
Illuminati.
yep, on business purposes.
Wait, didn't somebody get a text about joining the Illuminati?
That was me, man. I got a text from the, about joining the Illuminati, and Buddy was mad when I told him, hey man, I don't think, what I'm saying, that the Illuminati's out here recruiting on Instagram. And he was like, well, why won't you give this a try? Don't you want to change your life and make your dreams come true? And I was just like, yeah, man, I do. But again, like, this
not
doesn't
through Instagram.
Right, not through Instagram. And he was like, come on, Carol, why won't you give this a chance? What do you have to lose? Well, you should just try it. And I'm just like, buddy, I don't know about that. But
you had to drink like Cambodian baby blood or something.
Listen, man, I have no idea. But I was not trying to find out through Instagram at all. Hilarious. I wish I remembered his name. I'd shout him out. Maybe he's watching.
They're always watching.
They're always watching. And ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you all are always watching, because this is the podcast where you get exposure to the true manifestation of the successful Black male. And when we say successful, we're not talking about we have it all figured out, but we're doing the best that we can. And we try to sharpen each other and keep each other on point, and are always looking to learn and do better. So you're in the right place if that's what you're looking for. And like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, but we're not going to get into all that. All right. This week, we're going to hit something a little interesting. And this is definitely one that you might want to share with the males in your life. Maybe for the ladies out there, maybe you'll learn something about the male psyche. But fellas, I thought it would be great today if we always talk about when we were growing up, nobody gave us this advice. Nobody gave us the blueprint to different things. And today I was hoping that we could put out some advice through a little reflection. And that reflection exercise is, if you could give yourself, your younger self, or any younger man, college age and up, advice on dating, what would it be?
Be honest. Tell the truth 100% of the time, because you'll never lose 100% of the time.
Say that again, man. Say that again.
Say be honest. Tell the truth 100% of the time, and you'll never lose 100% of the time. I say that because experience, obviously, but when you tell the truth, you give people options. And I feel like the dating game, especially how it was when I was an adolescent, young adult, and probably very, very similar to today, everybody got options. Sometimes men have more than women, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you're looking at it. But when you're honest, you can make sure that the person that you're dating, socializing, talking to, whatever the verbiage is these days, has an opportunity to act accordingly, I should say. There's no real surprises. And if they act surprised, then you can say, no, I told you, we had this conversation, so we're all good here. And then you can sleep at night, clear conscience. Hopefully they can sleep at night knowing that everything is above board, honest, and open.
Okay. We're off to a good start.
Two things. I say take chances, take that chance. That person that you may be like, nah, I'm not even gonna step to him, I'm not even gonna shoot my shot. Like, go for no.
Steph Curry, shoot your shot.
Basically. Like, look, go out there, just do it, man. It's like if somebody saying no, okay, no, move on. Second thing would be that, and again, I may get a lot of slack for it, but it's really think about a person's actions and what they're telling you now and how that may play out in their future self. Again, somebody who's ambitious, somebody who's doing all these things right now. In college, in the early adolescent years, like people are still trying to figure everything out, right? But if somebody's not motivated then to do stuff, they're not really they're still trying to figure out what it is they do. You can ask questions, you can like try to help somebody, whatever, but at the same time, you're looking at 5, 10, 15 years down the road. If this person has potential, like what does that mean? If they're not motivated now, what does that look like 5 years from now if they're still not motivated and you're still together, right? Can you deal with that? If you're one who's always out doing stuff and motivated, is that person going to throw you off or pull you out of your natural self or being your natural self? Like it's still hard to tell at that age because everybody's trying to figure out what that means. But think about you have to think of that 5, 10, 15 years ahead. And like, see, if this is the way things are, could I be happy with like this? Because there's a lot of people who made decisions early on and sitting back and regret, like they had the warning signs early on, but didn't pay attention to it.
Yep. Crazy, deranged. Yep.
Big facts.
Psycho. That's a different story.
I got one more too, and this is a little bit on the more serious side. I think people underestimate the value of friendship prior to the seriousness of a relationship. Never discount that time period, whether it be a year, 2 years, 5 years, before you call yourself fully committed to someone, to get to know them and learn the friendship or create the friendship, build the friendship, because that's what will help carry you. If this is the person that you feel like you're supposed to be with, that friendship is what's going to carry you through a lot of those difficult times, because you always have something solid to come back to. Without it, I rarely see it work.
I got 2 at the moment, and I think BJ kind of hit on the first one. Don't try to get into something serious without being serious about yourself and who you are. Because if you don't know who you are and you're not secure in yourself yet, dating somebody else only delays that process, because you start to make compromises and cater to that person and try to keep them happy. And in the end, maybe that person at that younger age, remember we're talking about college, age, slightly older, 20s, maybe, early 30s for some that, get a late start, but you definitely want to know who you are and what you want, because that makes things a lot easier. And I would say there are probably very few people that know that at that age. There are some out there, and if you find one, hold on to them for sure. But the second part would be, I think it's very difficult to understand the course of your life when you don't have access. I don't think you truly know who you are until you have access, meaning you have the ability to go eat wherever you want to. You have the ability to travel. You have the ability to, not just say, oh man, I wish I could do whatever. So in that regard, access changes you, or access expands your personality. So I would say, if you find somebody that you're gonna hold on to, okay, share your hopes, share your dreams, share what you want to do once you get access. If that person can't even fathom that or isn't supportive of you in trying to get there, like, hey, let's move together, like not move in together, but let's make movements together, as in, okay, well, if you want that, what do we need to make sure that you do, right? What do you need to do before we graduate, or as we move closer to, the next step? I think those are very important. And if you can't find that person, then keep moving through your life, develop to the point where you're stable you got money coming in, you're not living, well, for starting out, you might be living check to check, but just you definitely want to move with somebody that you can, I'm going to support you, you're going to support me in our goals, and move from there.
If I'm talking to my young self about dating in my college years, probably one of the first things I'm gonna tell myself is that thing at the top is called the clitoris. You gotta make sure to have it be your best friend, understand how to have a relationship with it. I'm just being honest if I'm talking to myself as a young man. However,
he talking to himself, baby.
Exactly. If we gonna go back to the other part, I'm just saying. No, I definitely would. No,
I wasn't expecting
no, it's not going to kill you.
I should always be ready. Stay ready.
Excellent
no, it's
job.
not going to kill you. I think is one of the biggest things I would definitely make sure to impose upon myself. But just like all of us have said, that knowing of self, I think we got so everybody is can get in these positions where we are assuming a relationship is kind of what we need or what we're supposed to have, and get lost in the search of companionship instead of really working on finding yourself. There are some people out there who do not need a companion. You may not know that until you find self. There are some people out there who choose the wrong companion early, like BJ was saying, simply because you get put into these false assumptions or placed in situations because your parents or thought process, oh well, they're in med school, so I'm just going to go ahead and power through any craziness that they deal with me because they're in med school and they're a future doctor. And it's just like, no, that's not what you have to do. I think one of the biggest things also is understanding good relationships exist, and that just because you may have not seen perfect examples of relationships, to understand that there is no need for violence or foolishness or constant disagreements or continuous feelings of anxiety or any other issues. Like,
are you still talking to your younger self?
I'm talking to my younger self. I am.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's deep now. We went past, we started at the top.
I must have missed the violence. I must have missed the violence. My bad.
There was no violent scene. I mean, or noted, but as an understanding of, just in general, that, hey, those things do not have to, like, if those things are apparent, like, you don't have to settle. You don't have to be in relationships where you feel that you have to be there. Like, there are times when you grow apart from each other, and that is a-okay. And I guess knowing that, understanding that relationships don't have to have some type of tragedy in order for their time to expire. That might be a good, yeah, there you go.
I think that's a good one. I think you said it good. What'd you say? You said something about apart from each other, or what'd you say?
What I just say right now was the button on it. I said relationships don't have to have a tragedy in order to expire.
Love it. Yeah. I think you're right. Because I think when we're younger, we think there has to be this event that leads to the relationship expiring, even though it already expired previously. And I think that's probably another good one. You're not going to get it right, the first time, the second time, and you got to be okay with that and realize that it's not the end of the world. I think folks get caught up and feel like this is it. This is my life. This is my forevermore. And again, because of where you're at, not knowing really fully who you are in some cases, and the person that you're with, maybe not knowing who they are fully, you're just trying stuff out, testing it out to see, okay, what do I like? Because chances are at that point, you really don't know what you like
at
or
all.
Who you like.
You're making a ton of assumptions based on what you've seen and what you and your friends have talked about. And, going back to Brett's first statement, the piece about the truth, I think that's also one of the hardest things to truly understand at a young age, is that ability to just be truthful will propel you so much further in all relationships. Just deal with it as it comes and be truthful, that it makes it so much easier and more comfortable.
Yeah, and I think there's a group for whatever you want.
I think that's it. And that's what we don't I guess in a sense take the time to truly think about, is like songs like There Are Other Fish in the Sea. Like, that is a true and very real statement, that there is, I promise, somebody out there who fits you perfectly. All your intricacies, the crazy stuff that you do, the things that you like to do, they like. The things that you don't like, they don't like. You know what I mean? Or they compliment, yo, I don't like doing the dishes. Guess what? They will. You know what I mean? It's all of those little things. That person is out there. You can't be afraid to search, but also search intelligently. It doesn't mean you have to go out there and be willy-nilly.
But with that, you have to be, I think, is honest with yourself as well. Because and part of that, I say that because I'm thinking back to like painting scenarios, what you just said of who may compliment you. Because it's not a complete, it's a compliment, right? I always used to hear like, who's going to complete me? And I learned quickly, that's not the route to go. Who's going to compliment you? Yep. And that compliment may not be what you have your sights set on. Like, I'm trying to, I don't want to mince words, but basically a lot of guys go after looks, right?
100%.
Right. So, but that may not be at all the person who's going to compliment you. Like, again, it's all in what they bring to the table and who brings what to the table and who's going to be. But a lot of the times, let's sit there and listen, guys, like, you realize you're describing the girl you hang out with all the time and y'all best friends, right? But you never look at her that way. You never even thought about her that way. That's such and such.
And it's
no, we just cool. We just cool. We can't do that. Like, what's stopping you?
It's like that on both sides, because the same thing, the boy's looking at the female and the female's looking at the boy like, dang, I want somebody like them, but not them. And it's like, well, that actually makes more sense. If you have somebody that you can that is of your I guess I want to say attracted sex. I don't want to, you know what I mean? But if you have somebody of your attracted sex that you get along with, and they are, they compliment you, they're fun to be around. Like, I think sometimes we are I guess jaded by commercial attraction, like the what we've been, pushed to perceive as, this is what beauty is. So this is what you should be, looking as and being able to, present to everybody else as, look at my beautiful thing.
And I promise you, bro, I'm not trying to, you always say I'm such a hater. I promise you, I'm not trying to hate. I just really want to know what it was that you said. You said you're attracted what?
What? That you're attracted to the commercial.
No, that's not what he's talking about.
He says, no, it's I know what exactly he said, but
I don't even think he could say it again, because it was that smooth. It was like you're attracted. It was almost like
I didn't know if you said you're attracted.
It was
you're attracted.
Yes,
sense,
but it wasn't that.
Your attractedness. I don't know what you said.
Or maybe it was attracted sex.
It was attracted sex, as in sex you're attracted to.
Oh, okay. Your sexual attraction. I got you.
Right.
Got you.
But being older and looking back now, like that is also a downfall, because again, that might not be the compatibility. That may be something that is there right then and there, but you think, again, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, well, anything can happen with that. And that's that super, I say superficial, but that's more so of the self-gratification of that physical sense, and not of the.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I say not completing or what you need to be supported. Go back to what Kate said. And somebody who's going to support you, somebody who's going to support your dreams and hopes and desires may not be that same person that you're physically attracted to when you're 18, 20, 25 years old. Like that just may not be the case. And all those things happen, and that person may be great, but that's not the person who's going to support you, guide you, give you the kick in the butt what you need when you need it. Right?
Yeah. And we're talking about it from the sense of our attraction, but it also works in the other sense when you haven't gotten that confidence in yourself yet, and somebody comes along that you think, oh wow, this person likes me, and you just jump into it because you can't believe that this person likes you, and you don't even know if you guys have something in common or if you're on the same level, same common ground, and you get into it, and then you realize, oh, you know what, you're not what I thought you were. So I think it works both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that just comes back to that, confidence in yourself and knowing who you are and being able to identify what you want and sharing that.
So we was talking about like college age. How often are you at that point between 18 and 22 or 18 and 24? And if, it's not very often, what's the best practice to navigate that whole like dating situation? Because everything is experiences. You're growing and maturing at the same time. You gave a good piece of like old, wisdom when, every relationship ain't gonna be your last relationship, but how often do you go into it saying, okay, you're gonna be my next ex-girlfriend? So not having a full deck of cards, but still trying to maneuver that space. What are you left with?
Well, the Tao teaches to embrace and enjoy every moment as it comes. And so instead of being so concerned, and even though you should move, just like in any career or job that you set forth in, should essentially have kind of a focus of, this is I'm moving towards, greatness with these steps. But you should also still be present in your moment, right? The today, the now. So move forward with, the understanding and in hopes of pushing your energy towards, your ultimate goals, but just embrace as it comes. Don't put so much weight on assuming that you can force anything. Understand that it's going to come naturally, the best way. And be more receptive to that. Enjoy the moments instead of trying to force the moments.
We talked about honesty again. When you enter those situations, right? It's really like thinking through, okay, this situation is not sitting right with me. Whatever may happen in the relationship, right? Like you get your campus, and we talk about college experience, right? You get to campus and you get involved with somebody, and first semester, second semester, you're there, and all of a sudden you're just not feeling it right, feeling it is flowing right. Like, be upfront, be honest. Don't just wait around and say, like, I'm gonna see 6 months from now how this is gonna go. Like, again, honestly, it may hurt. It may not be the best situation. Like, if that person is truly somebody you've built a friendship with, like you mentioned earlier, but it's really building that friend. Like, can we stay friends and see if particularly later on, as we mature, as we grow, is this something that we grow back together, we come back together or not? Again, that doesn't mean that I'm committed here, I'm gonna be doing this or whatever. It's really just being honest about, like, we're not mixing on this right now. What are we gonna do? What are we doing? And being open and honest with that. I mean, I think there's been plenty of times I've been in situations, had many conversations where somebody, even in undergrad, was like, yeah, we started dating freshman year, and like now it's sophomore, junior year, and it's like everybody knows us as that couple, and like they don't want to let everybody else down, but they're both like miserable because everybody's friends with them and everybody's cool. They have mutual friends. It's like, what do? We can't not be that person for everybody else. Like, it ain't about everybody else.
But you guys bring up a really good point, and I think what you're talking about, not that particular part you just ended with, because yeah, there's a lot of peer pressure in that environment, but at some point, and this is where, you know, the older folks speak, courting has gone out the door, and dating, I think, was originally supposed to be, we're dating. This means we go on dates, we learn who each other are. We move dating to a more permanent type situation where it's a relationship. We're in a relationship, and put, you know, longevity to it, where if you use the courting phase, then you kind of figure out who each other is. I think that's what that was meant for. You figure out if you're a match and then move on to dating. But I think that is a relic at this point, and I don't know if anybody really does that still.
I think people got mixed messages of what that means, right? And mixed understandings. First of all, courting, dating, getting to know, just going out with somebody, getting to know them, right? Does that mean you guys are a singular object right now? Like, if y'all haven't established that, then that's a problem. If we're going on dates just to say if we're gelling, but I'm still gonna see other people, you can still go out with other people, like, that needs to be talked about front. But there's a lot of people today that are possessive. I don't know how else to say it. Like, if we're talking, and because they use that word, I say they, but like but talking is the term now. Like, we don't say we're dating. Very few people say we're dating until it's like later on down the line. But if that's the case, then we're exclusive from the get-go, and we're not exploring if this is the only option, if there's other things out there that it may be missing, that I may not be the one for you, you may not be the one for me. It may work the opposite way than what I'm thinking. But is that going to be what we're doing up front? And is that stipulated? Or is it just willy-nilly and people are getting upset because a text message comes in from somebody? You're going to hang out with your friends tonight and there's other guys around, other girls around, and people are getting upset. People are very possessive nowadays, and that's turning into a lot of violence when it comes to that too. You got to be careful.
You know, now that I think about it, that should have been a part of freshman orientation.
Dating?
Like, people talking about this, like, yeah, hey, look, you're going to be here. You're going to find and see people that you've never seen before, and you're going to want to date people, and just some type of guidance, right? Suggestions. And I don't know who that was going to come from, but
right.
Again, that comes back to why are you laughing, man?
I can't imagine Dean Wilson, and I'm only using her as an example, but like an administrator of the school that has close ties with the student body getting up there and talking like that. Now, I've seen forums, like we've actually put on, when I was on the yard, several forums that surrounded that whole, or that whole dating thing, but it was student ran. It wasn't necessarily older or adult.
And it could have still been student ran. I mean, for the most part, the real orientation was student ran.
That's fair.
By the time we got there, it was just the formality. By the time we got to campus, the real orientation had been done already. That's why most of us were there.
Yep. So let's pivot a little bit from that age range to our age range now. And
hold on. Before you pivot.
Yes, sir.
The courting thing, the dating thing. I feel like there is a misunderstanding, but I feel like that people get stuck in that. I feel like because of the dynamics between the male and the female at this point, it becomes a distraction, and it's hard to go from the courting or dating phase to the next phase because you get too many options, or, you know, not enough honesty, hurt feelings, things of that nature.
Do you think that happened in like your younger years, or is that now where people are now because there's so many options, you can just keep courting, and depending on what people are willing to give out, during courting, you just, oh, well, I'll just keep doing this.
I feel like it definitely happened in my younger years, and I feel like it majorly impacts my generation, because I hear it from Chris's friends and other females and how they're impacted by it. I just had conversations with some fraternity brothers of mine close in age that are still impacted by it. So I think it became a thing. And at this point, nobody really knows what to do with it or knows how to kind of, or wants to do what it takes to get out of that cycle because of all the options and distractions.
It's tough, man. Like, I don't even know. I think it's becoming, to a degree, I don't understand. I think it's becoming more competitive as your options or the groups, the pool becomes less, right? It's funny because it's like a double-edged sword. And now we going controversial. You got men turning to men, you got women turning to women, right? And then you have the rest of the folks that there's competition for. And because their options may be limited, you just like, oh, well, I'm a commodity. I'm super attractive at this point, especially if I have a job and I'm stable and I could pay for trips, or at least pay my share of the trip and not say, I don't have any money to do that. Right. And I think it's that way on both sides, male and female. Mm-hmm. Right. And now you think, well, I don't have time to invest in this person and figure out if things just don't look clear in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So now you cut that and let me hurry up and run to the next person before they get taken. Mm-hmm. Everybody's just like, what?
There's a lot, and there's a lot in what you said, because I'm playing out a situation in my head now where that running from situation to situation also leads back to, well, I don't care if he or she is in a relationship, I'm still going to pursue. I don't care if he or she is in the marriage, I'm still going to pursue. And that commodity right there is also part of the downfall for a whole nother subset of people. So that, because at the end of the day, a lot of the people I hear that have those conversations or will say that honestly, like, I don't care if they're in a relationship. Like, they've already come to the conclusion, like, that's not what they want. They want that person for whatever reason. And mm-hmm. it could be a plethora of reasons, right? Mm-hmm. They don't care about, they just want what they want, self-gratification. Like, that's who I want. That's the situation I want, or he or she has something that I want. Then I'm going to see where this goes. Forget the other situation that goes on. I don't know, that may be taking it off left a little bit before we at, but that's what just played out when you described that right there. Because of that, because of a lot of lack of options, mm-hmm. people will settle for, well, I'm in it for the fun. I'm in it for just the sex. I'm in it just for the money, the trips, stuff on the side. I don't have to deal with all that. Or I'll suppress all those feelings that I may want all that stuff. And I'll just deal with this here and now and deal with the consequences later on.
So you bring up a good point. And I don't want to go too far away from Brett's original thing of people that get stuck in that courting phase. And I guess the question is, are they really stuck? Or is purgatory better than being in hell?
I think sometimes it's comfort too. I don't think it's as much stuck as it is they get to that comfort stage and are just in this, that it's comfortable here. I don't want to shake up nothing and have assumptions on what the quote unquote next level brings and what changes that means and everything else. And so that comfort, it's comfort and fear, right? that it just puts you in that stagnant state of just like, you know what, it's straight here, so why should I do anything to rock this boat? I should just go ahead and ride this out, and hopefully it'll be straight, because I just saw my dog who got married and that turned out to be insane. But I got my other homeboy who's single and he's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, yo, we'll just stay in this kind of middle road space, and I'll just hopefully ride this thing out.
Is the problem the work?
That's it.
Putting in the work.
It's the every dude I talk to or man I talk to that lives in this space, I feel like it's the responsibility. Like Fresh said, you comfortable, you good, so you can stay at a level, get jiggy with it, be big willy, all that good stuff. And once things get to be uncomfortable or a little difficult, or you have to be a little bit more responsible or accountable, you have another option that you can jump to and get there and have another 4 to 6 months, maybe a year wave. And because most men are not monogamous, like there's like 2, 3, or 4 on the back burner. So you can it's a rotation. So it's easier. And I feel like it's a choice at that point. And you really have to decide, okay, do I really want to get out of this? Or someone or women have to really hold you to a certain standard.
I think yeah. And there's also a part where you don't want to take the cuts. You don't want to take the cuts that's going to make you grow.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And it's on both sides. It's not just men. I think it's on the other side too. People, and this goes back to knowing who you are and being confident in yourself, and then being confident in this other person that you've now made this commitment to, whatever level of commitment that is. There's going to be cuts along the way to help each other grow. And some people don't want to hear that. I just want the person that's, they're not going to really say anything. It is what it is. And then when they get tired of it, they'll just leave. Cool. I'll go on to the next person.
I mean, we all can say we know somebody who fall, male and female, they fall in that category.
Well, I think that was I don't know. I think the only thing that could have made that better is if we had some single people on here and like we ran it like a workshop. Like
That's what we need. That's what we need. Carol, there was one more point you wanted to hit before we get out of here, though. Or did we cover it?
No, we covered it. We transitioned to it.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm very curious as to what Art's thoughts would have been if he was here, but maybe we'll have him just drop some things on the IG page, or maybe we'll do some YouTube shorts next week and feature some stuff. And folks, if we definitely want to hear comments on this one, because there are a lot of single people out there that listen to our podcast, and even those that are in relationships. Like, what made it work? At what point did you realize that you were ready and that you knew what you needed to know in order to find the right person? We definitely want to know. So hit us up on the IG page. We got a gang of new followers on the IG page. Just want to welcome all of you that may be seeing clips of this. And then we got some new followers on YouTube too. Unfortunately, I don't know their names, but we'll shout y'all out next week. But in the meantime, Fresh, you want to hit us with some freshivation?
Why not?
It was like therapeutic for you last week. You were like, yes, I have something I want to talk about.
I went ahead and released, but I always got something in the basket. Don't ever get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. This week, if you are going on a journey, do not seek the advice of someone who has never left the house. So even in dealing with this conversation that we had on this week's podcast, I would definitely, as a younger person, look and seek advice from people in relationships that I saw that were healthy and that I admired and were in positions that I liked, and asked them and engage more with, how they got to where they are and have a better understanding there. But that goes across the board for anything that you are doing. Always take advantage of seeking advice from those who have already been in that position or been through it. That's this week's frustration. Y'all know what it is.
Nice. I'm not gonna draw mine out. Anybody want to say anything else? No. It is better to have 10 ex-fiancés than one ex-wife or ex-husband. And I'll leave it there.
Good night,
Say something, Asher.
Tell them what time it is, Asher.
That's it for now, folks.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're done here on the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are
Amazing.